Hi guys, I'm live. I just washed my hair, coming in more than usual because it takes 3 hours to dry. So I just washed it. And now, what? I don't know. I guess got out like 40 minutes ago, something like that. Um, I want to do a lesson today, right now, on blues music. Um, let's just start. When I was a kid and taking lessons at Alabama Music, my now mentor or current mentor, DJ Alverson, made it to something about in West music we have, or European music, we have major thirds and minor thirds. We have major triads and minor triads. Major triads have a major third, and minor triads have a minor third up from the root. And DJ said that the blues people didn't have that. That's all I heard him say. I didn't hear him go on. I didn't hear him say anything else. But later thought about it, and I think I understand it now. The blues was very vocal in nature. They didn't try to vocalize a major third or a minor third. They just had a middle third. They had a third that was somewhere between a major third and a minor third. As long as there was a note between the root and the fifth that was in between, or about halfway, that's all they cared about. So when blues became instrumentalized with guitar and then sometimes piano and whatever, saxophone, whatever, you'll play a major third or a minor third. We play like both at the same time. That's our way of saying, well, we don't play a particular third, but when we go to play blues, that's why there's a lot of minor third just sliding to major third and all that. And because playing the major third and the minor third is imitates having just one third as close as you can, and keyboardists do it. Well, they do it too, minor third to major third on the keyboard, and therefore that made the sound of having a major chord as the harmony and playing a minor third above it. I mean, minor third over the chord sounds good. It sounds bluesy, and it actually sounds good because you can hear the major third being played with the chord, and the minor third in the melody. And sometimes the melody will play the, or maybe the major third and the minor third, or the chord sometimes can go from a minor third to a major third, and that's really cool. But I want to go on about a little more detail in depth than that. But at the same time, it's a phenomenon that if you play a minor chord and you play a major third as a melody over the chord, it doesn't sound good. And if you play a minor chord and your melody is a major third, it just sounds wrong. Whereas if you play a major chord and play a minor third, it sounds cool, hip, and bluesy. And I wondered why that was, and no one told me, but I thought about it. I think it's because even though the blues has a third in the middle, you still favor the major third because the major third is based on the overtone series, the scenarios, root, octave, the interval of root, octave, fifth, octave, major third, perfect fifth. Then there's a seventh one that's between B flat and A, or between a minor seventh and a major sixth, and then back to the triple octave. Wait, would that be right? Yeah, triple octave. So the major third actually exists in nature. As if you play an open string and all that, and you play with harmonics, you'll find that a note generates a major third naturally. But the minor third, not so much. And because it's based on the undertones, which don't really exist in practice, they only exist in theory. And you don't hear the notes that are under it. You don't hear a note that's an octave below it, or two octaves below it, or an octave and a fifth below it, or an octave and a third below it. You just hear the note. But theoretically, you can make a chord that downward like a major third. It would go down an octave, and then down a fifth, down a fourth, and then down a major third, then down a minor third, and then down a perfect fourth, and that would be the triple octave below. But if you but you don't, chords are rendered bottom up though. We don't render chords from the top down. We just don't. So if you render that tone series from the bottom up, you get a minor chord based on the what we call the subdominant, or the fifth below the actual root note. You have a minor triad going upward. In other words, if you have a C as the main note, you would have an A flat and a C, and that F is a fifth below the C, or a fourth above. It would subdominant chord, and it would be actually minor rather than major, because if you, it's the negative harmony of the undertones are the negative harmony of the overtones. So obviously a negative harmony of a major triad would be, you play it going from the bottom up, is a minor triad. But that doesn't answer my question. Why does it not sound good to play a minor triad and play a major triad over it? Because I think it's because the major triad is too domineering. The major third is too domineering, and it just wipes out the minor chord is the problem. Whereas when you play a major chord as the harmony, the minor third goes with it, but doesn't negate the harmony of the chord. It doesn't blast it out of existence. It just kind of gives it some color, and that's because the minor third is not natural, and therefore is not as strong of a statement as the major third. But when you play a minor triad and you play a major triad as the melody, over it, it just hammers the minor triad too much, and it doesn't sound good because the harmony doesn't sound good. So I just thought food for thought. Remember that the blues was never the blues people didn't have guitars necessarily. They just sang the blues. That's why they call it singing the blues. And this is interesting to know about the major third, minor third thing. And thank you, DJ, for giving me that thought about 37 years ago or something that I still remember now. Oh, and by the way, I have some updates. Is that what I wanted to say about that? I have some updates. First of all, here's a cool update. I actually, from talking about my trauma, some people complain or criticize me for having PTSD from my dad. But first of all, having you deal with him for 17 years. But anyway, that's not the point. By talking about that beating he gave me in the front porch, I actually unblocked it. I got it out. I got it out of blackout status. I now remember him hitting me. It was awful, dude. And the guy just wasn't stopping. It was just kicking the crap out of me. But I can now remember. That. I guess it helps to process it better that I can remember it than I did when I couldn't remember the beating, because I didn't even know what he did to me. But the one in the garage, I still have blacked out. I haven't processed that one yet. The one where he chased me into the garage, locked the door behind him, turned off the light, and chased me around the cars. I haven't. That's still blacked out. But the other one, I remember. So that's good. And I love blues music. I love understanding. You know, John Harrelson, was my actual main mentor until he died. Said in 1980, he says, "I want to know why." But that's all he said. I want to know why. Well, there's a lot. That says a lot, you know. I want to know why things work in music. I just don't want to play the guitar and just put my fingers where they're supposed to go. I don't want to do that. I want to feel it. I want to know why I'm playing those notes. I want to play it with conviction. And that can even be aided by theory. You play something differently when you understand what you're playing than you do when you don't. You just do. Like if I can say a sentence in Spanish, but and I may say it right, but if I don't know what I'm saying, it's going to come off differently than if I know what I'm saying and say a sentence in Spanish. Same with music. If you know what you're saying, you say it differently and with more conviction than if you really don't know what you're doing. So learn your theory. At least I suggest that. I mean, some people don't just play, but you know, those people maybe they're geniuses and don't have to do theory. Maybe they're themselves and are misleading you, or maybe worse of all, they don't want you to succeed and they want to distract you from a good thing, and they tell you to not do theory because if everybody knows, then the people that know the theory first don't have an advantage, you know. But I don't do that on my channel. I give what I have, which reminds me, I have a cool thing. First, I'm doing lessons every Wednesday. I'm doing Hump Day lesson day. I did it. I'd say what I mean. If you take a bar across one fret on a guitar, you get a minor pentatonic scale. If you do that on D, that would be the 10th fret. You get a D minor pentatonic scale. Now, in the white keys only, the next pentatonic up would be E, a whole step above, and that would be on the 2nd fret or 14th fret. No, the 12th fret. Sorry, D's on the 10th fret. The next E above it, in D Dorian or C major, would be E minor pentatonic, because you can bar the 12th fret and get all notes in D Dorian as well. The next time you get to do that is an A, and that's on the 17th fret, and that would be an A minor pentatonic scale. The next time you get to do it above that is, again, the D, the octave above, which would be the 22nd fret, which gives you a D minor pentatonic scale there. So what's an acronym? What's harmonic to remember that? You have a D bar, or minor, then 2 frets up, you got E. 5 frets up from that, which is 7 frets up from the D, you have an A. Then an octave, and then a fourth above that, or an octave above the D, you have a D up here. What's the mnemonic? Well, if you start with D, then E, D. What does that spell? Dead. Just remember dead. D-E-A-D, like the word not living, dead. D on the 10th fret, bars across. E on the 12th fret, bars across. A on the 17th fret, bars across. D on the 22nd fret, bars across. I move it around to whatever Dorian you want to play. It's a good mnemonic to remember where your frets are, where your minor pentatonics of just 1 fret across can be played. And I wasn't going to say that. That's my own theory. I just thought of that yesterday, but I'm giving it out to you guys. So I think that's a good lesson. I think I'm good. I love you guys. Peace, rock and roll.